In this video, I'm going to talk about a rather special consonant composed of two different letters and ng, but representing one unit of sound. I'm going to sound this consonant with the inherent vowel sound a. So from here on out, I'm going to refer to this consonant as na. What was that again? Na or ga? Well, it's neither of these two. How then are we going to sound it right? Let's practice with this word sanga, meaning branch. So this Hiligaynon consonant sound is pretty much like the ng in English. Just like the ng in the words sing, hang, and long. The major difference between the Hiligaynon ng and the English ng is that the Hiligaynon ng can be placed at the beginning of a word, which is non-existent in English. There's no English word that starts with ng. However, the ng can be placed in the middle or at the end of a Hiligaynon word or of an English word. In other words, ng can be placed in either the middle or at the end in both Hiligaynon and English words. In my many years of teaching Hiligaynon to foreigners, the challenge is in the ng at the beginning of a word. My students would initially say na or ga, especially when it appears at the beginning of a word. So to practice, let's go back to the word sanga, which, as you remember, means branch, like a tree branch or a store branch. This word has two syllables, sa and nga. Sanga. I'm going to say this word 3 times at a natural speed. You may pause the video and say it on your own as many times as you want. All right, here we go. Sanga. 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 This time, I'm going to read it slowly and by syllable. When syllabicated or separated by syllables, it is read as sa-nga and not sang-a. Again, it is sa-nga. Now listen carefully. Feel free to pause the video for your own practice. Ready? Here we go. Sa-nga. 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 Now let's prolong the pause between the first and the second syllable. Ready? Okay, here we go. Sa nga. Sa nga. Sa nga. Now let's scratch out the first syllable sa and say only the second syllable nga. In a way, we say sa in our head and saying nga out loud. Ready? Nga. 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 With constant practice, you'll be able to sound this consonant clearly and naturally. And speaking of practice, let's study these words as practice examples. The first one we have here is ngalan. Ngalan, meaning name. Ngalan. So the consonant nga is at the beginning of the word, ngalan, and followed by the vowel a, making the sound combination nga. Nga. Ngalan. The next one we have here is nga. Nga, meaning to open one's mouth or to gape. I'm just going to write it here, to gape. So nga is also a combination of the consonant nga and the vowel a. Nga and another combination of ng and a. Nga. So we have nga. I think this is the best way to practice the consonant nga with nga. Next we have ngisi. Ngisi, meaning to grin. So the consonant nga could also be followed by the vowel e, making the sound ngi. 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 Ngisi. Ngisi. And of course, the consonant nga could also be followed by the vowel u, as in our next example, ngurob. ngurob, meaning to roar. So again, the consonant nga could be followed by the vowel u, making the sound ngu, 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 ngurob, ngurob. Okay, so let's go over these words again to practice. You may repeat after me if you want to. Ngalan, ngalan, nganga, nganga, ngisi, ngisi, ngurob, ngurob. The consonant nga in the next set of examples is located in the middle or at the end of the word. The first one we have here is hangin, hangin, meaning air or wind. The consonant nga is in the middle of the word hangin, hangin. The next word we have here is langit, langit, meaning sky or heaven. The consonant nga is also in the middle of this word, langit, langit. And the next word here is damang, damang, meaning spider. The consonant nga is at the end of the word damang, damang, damang. And the last example we have here is saging, saging, meaning banana, saging. Just like in the previous example, the consonant nga in this word saging is also found at the end of the word, saging. Again, let's go over these words one by one. Repeat after me if you want to. Hangin, hangin, langit, langit, damang, damang, saging, saging. Now let's talk about the case of the double G. You will come across words written down with two G's. That's because the sound system of these words requires the case of the double G. Now, when you see a word with two G's in it, remember that the first G is always attached to the letter N, comprising the consonant nga. The second G, however, belongs to an entirely different sound unit in a separate syllable. So this is how a double G happens in Hiligaynon words. Let's take the word bangga, for example. Bangga. Notice the hard vowel at the end. Bangga as a noun means corner, but as a verb, it means to ambush, as in to lie in wait and ambush. The two G's here belong to two different worlds. The first G is attached to the letter N because they both comprise the consonant nga, whereas the second G belongs to a different sound system, ga in this case. Also, the word bangga has two syllables, bang and ga. Clearly, the first G belongs in this syllable, whereas the second G belongs in the second syllable. And as a result, they are sounded differently. Bang, ga, bangga. For our next examples, let's write them down by syllables. So the first one we have here is lang, gao, langgao, meaning vinegar, langgao. The second one we have here is sing, git, singit, meaning to shout, singit. Notice that the G's in these words belong to different syllables or sound systems. So there you have the case of the double G in Hiligaynon words. Now, what happens if you toss out one G because writing down two G's is too much work? Well, in that case, we could get the wrong message across. Remember this earlier example? Banga, banga, which means as a noun, a corner, and as a verb, to lie in wait and ambush. What if we decide to write this word down with just one G, like this, one G? Not only does the pronunciation change, but the meaning as well. This word now is pronounced as banga. Also notice the hard ending at the end, banga. And it is no longer read as banga, but banga, meaning a clay jar, as in the picture shown here. Again, banga, 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 banga. Another one from one of our earlier examples is langaw, langaw, meaning vinegar. So if we drop one G and write down this word, the pronunciation and the meaning change completely. This time you have langaw, langaw, which means a housefly. Yes, a housefly. Langaw, 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 langaw. One last example we have here is singgit, singgit, meaning to shout. So if we decide to write down this word with just one G, not only do we change the meaning of the word, but the pronunciation as well. So right now we say sing it instead of sing it. With one G, we just say sing it. This word now means, as a noun, a fruit plucker. Or, as a verb, to pluck fruit with a fruit plucker, as in the picture shown here. Sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the consonant ra. This is Angelo, your Hiligaynon tutor. I teach Hiligaynon from my perspective as a native speaker. Madamo gid nga salamat. Please like and subscribe.